Let's be honest, every guy wants to twirl a sword at least once. Let me teach you a simple sword twirl, which is fun to practice, but also makes you more comfortable with the sword in your hand. So I'll start from the simple demonstration and with the simple variant of the sword twirl. The simplest sword twirl that you can do, even with a stick, of course it's one-handed. It's a simple twirl with your wrist near your right side, if you're right-handed, of course. That's the simplest twirl of a sword that you can do, and you use the momentum and the gravity of the blade, which falls down by itself, and you just come around into the initial position with your wrist. Of course, before you do anything, just be mindful of your wrists, because they can get injured if you twirl too much. But that's one of the ways to actually make them stronger and make them more comfortable holding a bit heavier object in your hands. And the next step is to make a twirl with your wrist, but from your other side. This takes a bit more movement, because you need to move your arm into the direction of the twirl, so you don't hit yourself with the blade. In the initial position, the blade just falls down by itself, but you lead it outwards from yourself into the left side. Moving on, we connect both of these twirls into one, but slowly. First twirl and the other twirl. 1 and 2. 1 and 2. 1 and 2. So how to actually progress with this twirl? We'll start from our first twirl near our right side here. And after we come into our initial position after the twirl, we move our arm behind ourselves with this motion. So don't start with a twirl, just start with your blade behind yourself like this, or to the side. So you point your tip downwards here. This lets you to make a movement which looks something like this. As you can see, we prolonged our left twirl, but we started from this position here, and we moved our blade pointing downwards near our leg, and we came back to the initial position with a twirl from the left side here. So once more, very slowly. I'll show you from the front. Okay, and now from the side. You can see I move and I lead my blade with my shoulder as well. So I don't only stick to one static position with my chest, I also help myself out with an extra movement of my chest by turning it to the side. So I don't accidentally hit myself with the blade here, which is a common mistake. That's why we do it slowly. But also, I haven't mentioned, you can do the same thing with the stick or with the padded longsword. but I haven't grabbed one from my inventory, so I'll just use my feather. So we did something of like this already. And we can prolong our movement here, so we can repeat the whole twirl how much we want to. And this already looks fancy as hell, because I really like to do twirls before any exchange, before I do a salute to my opponent to mark the exchange, that I'm ready for the exchange, sorry. I like to do a twirl before the salute. And it looks, of course, fancy as hell, so yeah, that's why I do it, and that's how I keep my fencing and drilling fun. Okay, progressing with our drill, right now we'll add the last sword movement to our whole twirl. Start from our first twirl, then we come around to the back, we come around to the our left side, and we turn our hips to help us out. So once more, the first twirl, second twirl, I move my sword around, I do the twirl from the left side, but my chest already points to the left side, so I already turned here. Then I do the third twirl, and then the fourth twirl that ends in my initial first position. So to do the whole twirl, we need to move our chest with our hips around, so we don't accidentally hit ourselves in the legs or in the shoulders, or even worse, at the head. The last twirl is a bit faster because I want to return to the initial first position of the whole drill. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a fifth twirl. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the fifth twirl already leads my movement very fast into the first twirl from the beginning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. Okay. Relax your arm, because it's a bit tiring, so mind your wrists and mind your arms. Before we go further, I'm Michael Kozin, and my mission is to help guys break from their video games addiction by encouraging them to start training longsword techniques for real. And by the way, if you want more than just a flashy drill, I've built the specific program for beginners who want to start training longsword. It's called From Gamer to Swordsman, and it's my private community. You can check out the links in the description, where I go deep into how to actually start training longsword without any experience whatsoever. So why actually twirling matters? In the sword fight, it doesn't even matter at all, of course, because you just twirl your sword without any direct movement. But twirling your sword, at least for the beginners, teaches you wrist control, fluidity, and blade awareness, so you don't get accidentally hit mid-fight when you actually do the direct actions, for example, defensive or offensive one. And the twirl actually helps out beginners to loosen up and not treat the longsword like a stiff steel bar to smash someone's face. Of course, it's the whole point, but the longsword is a precise and nimble weapon. It's not a blunt, heavy weapon which needs a lot of power behind it to strike someone. And small drills like this make you more fluid in an actual combat scenario. So the body learns how to behave with a sword, with the blade, when you're swinging it around. And twirls help you out with awareness of your blade. So yes, so you don't actually accidentally, of course, hit yourself with your own blade. So at the beginning of my sword fighting journey, around 2 years ago, I thought that twirling your sword wasn't practical at all. Of course, I thought that it doesn't teach you the actual techniques of sword fighting, so actually facing off the other opponent. But in short, I see the actual potential of twirling your sword, at least for the beginners, because it teaches you awareness, it teaches you smoothness and fluidity with a blade. So yes, so you don't stiff up, so you don't nervously hold to your sword like this. You have to be loose, even in a combat scenario, facing off another opponent. You don't stiffen up before any attack. You have to keep loose, of course, prepared for any action in any second, and react accordingly, so you don't get hit to the head, but you make a swift parry and a riposte. And yes, my last point is that twirls and flourishes make the exercise and solo drills exciting. They make you feel like like a more powerful person, character from your favorite RPG or something else like that. Of course, I'm not saying that video games are good. I think even they make you worse at just sword fighting. But actually going outside and grabbing a practice sword and twirling it and flourishing with it by yourself teaches you more and makes you a more powerful swordsman than just tapping a key in a video game. And yes, you can actually show off to the opponent and other people around before the fight. But I don't recommend you to do any twirling motion in an actual exchange, because you may lose an initiative or you may lose a reaction to the actual direct attack of your opponent. So don't do it mid-fight, but if you have huge distance to your opponent, then of course you can show off with your skill, but be prepared to actually do the direct compound movements or action to defeat your opponent, not to just swing your sword and just do nothing about it. And that's how you escape weak culture of gaming and Hollywood, by doing it yourself, outside, in the park or in the backyard. That's all it takes to do a first step into the world of sword fighting. And you can be a swordsman if you just do these simple steps, one by one, step by step, into the direction of a person you want to become. Just like me 2 years ago, when I had nothing and I had only gaming in my life. But I turned myself into a person, into a swordsman who can fight with a longsword, and just be excited about it. Now, if you enjoyed this and you're ready to take serious steps into becoming a swordsman, then go and check out my community called From Gamer to Swordsman, where I specifically teach you and other guys how to start longsword without any experience and with minimal gear, so you don't spend the fortune on things that you don't need at the beginning of sword fighting. For example, all you need to just start historical European martial arts are a padded longsword and a fencing mask on your head. And that's all. Inside you'll find my complete beginner's longsword guide for guys just like you, who have no guidance in this environment whatsoever, or you live far away from any hotspots or big cities where usually the clubs are. So yeah, that's the community that you need. So if you ever thought about picking up a longsword and doing it for real, then that's the place for you. And remember, always take the initiative.